commanded the Bodhisattva. Pilgrim went forward at once to pick up the vase. Alas! He could not do so at all. It was as if a dragonfly attempted to rock a stone pillar. How could he even budge it? Pilgrim approached the Bodhisattva and knelt down, saying, "Your disciple cannot pick it up." "Monkey head," said the Bodhisattva. "All you know is how to brag. If you can't even pick up a small vase, how can you subdue fiends and capture monsters?" "To tell you the truth, Bodhisattva," said Pilgrim, "I might be able to do it ordinarily, but today I just can't pick it up. I must have been hurt by the monster spirit, and my strength has weakened." The Bodhisattva said, "Normally it's an empty vase, but once it has been thrown into the ocean, it has traveled through the 3 rivers, the 5 lakes, the 8 seas, and the 4 big rivers. It has, in fact, gathered together from all the aquatic bodies in the world an ocean full of water, which is now stored inside it. You may be strong, but you don't possess the strength of upholding the ocean. That's why you cannot pick up the vase." Pressing his hands together before him, Pilgrim said, "Yes, your disciple is ignorant of this." Walking forward, the Bodhisattva used her right hand and picked up the immaculate vase with no effort at all, and placed it on the middle of her left palm. The tortoise nodded his head again before he crawled back into the water. "So this is a coolie who serves the household and looks after the vase," said Pilgrim. After the Bodhisattva took her seat again, she said, "Wukong, the sweet dew in my vase is not like that unauthorized rain of the Dragon Kings. It can extinguish the samadhi fire of the monster spirit. I want you to take it with you, but you are unable to pick up the vase. I want the dragon girl skilled in wealth to go with you, but I fear that you are not a person of kindly disposition. All you know is how to hoodwink people. When you see how beautiful my dragon girl is, and what a treasure is my immaculate vase, you will try to steal it. If you succeed, where would I find time to go look for you? You'd better leave something behind as a pledge." "How pitiful," said Pilgrim. "Bodhisattva, you are so suspicious. Since your disciple embraced complete poverty, he has never indulged in such activities. You tell me to leave a pledge. What shall I use? This silk shirt on my body is a gift from you. And this tiger skin skirt, how much can it be worth? The iron rod, well, I need it for protection night and day. Only this little fillet on my head is made of gold, but you used some tricks to make it grow on my head so that it could not be taken down. If you want a pledge, I'm willing now to give that to you as a pledge. You can recite a loose fillet spell and remove it from me. Otherwise, what shall I use as a pledge? You are rather smug, aren't you?" said the Bodhisattva. "I don't want your clothes, your iron rod, or your gold fillet. Pull off one strand of that life-saving hair behind your head and give it to me." Pilgrim said, "These hairs were also your gift. I fear that if I pull one off, they will be broken up in such a way that they will no longer be able to save my life." "You ape!" scolded the Bodhisattva. "You are so stingy that you won't even uproot one hair. That makes it difficult for me also to dispense my goodly wealth." Laughing, Pilgrim said, "Bodhisattva, you are truly suspicious. But as the saying goes, if you don't have regard for the monk, at least have regard for the Buddha. I beg you to save my master from his ordeal." Then the Bodhisattva freely and gladly left the lotus seat and walked up the rocky cliff with scented steps. Since the holy monk was threatened with harm, she would subdue the fiend and give him help. Highly pleased, the great sage Sun followed Guanyin out of the tidal sound cave as the various devas stood at attention on the Potalaka peak. "Wukong," said the Bodhisattva, "let's cross the ocean." Pilgrim bowed and said, "Let the Bodhisattva go first." "You go first," said the Bodhisattva. Kowtowing, Pilgrim said, "Your disciple dares not display his power before the Bodhisattva. If I use the cloud somersault, my clothes may flip up and reveal my body, and I fear that the Bodhisattva will take offense at my irreverence." When the Bodhisattva heard these words, She told the dragon girl skilled in wealth to pick from the lotus pond one petal of lotus flower and drop it into the ocean below the mountain ridge. Then she said to Pilgrim, "Get up on that lotus flower petal, and I'll send you across the ocean." Seeing the flower, Pilgrim said, "Bodhisattva, this petal of flower is so light and thin. How could it bear me up? I'll tumble into the water for sure, and won't my tiger skin kilt be soaked? If it loses its tan, how can I wear it when the weather turns cold? Get up there and see what happens," shouted the Bodhisattva. Not daring to disobey, Pilgrim risked his life and jumped onto the flower. At first, it did seem rather light and small, but when he alighted on it, he found that the flower was actually somewhat larger than a small boat. Delighted, Pilgrim said, "Bodhisattva, it should hold me." "In that case," said the Bodhisattva, "why can't you cross the ocean?" Pilgrim said, "There is neither pole nor oar, neither sail nor mast. How could I cross the ocean?" "No need for that," said the Bodhisattva, who blew a mouthful of air lightly onto the lotus flower, and immediately it drifted away from the shore. Another breath of the Bodhisattva sent Pilgrim across the bitter sea of the southern ocean until he reached the other shore. When his feet touched solid ground again, Pilgrim laughed and said, "This Bodhisattva truly knows how to display her powers. She's able to summon old monkey hither and thither with no effort at all." The Bodhisattva then gave instructions for all the devas each to stand guard in his station, and for the dragon girl skilled in wealth to shut the gate of the cave. Mounting the auspicious cloud, she departed from the Potalaka peak. When she reached the backside of the mountain, she called out, "Huyan, where are you?" Huyan, you see, whose common name was Mak-a, happened to be the second prince of the pagoda bearer Devaraja, Li, and he, as the pupil taught personally by the Bodhisattva, never strayed from her side. His name was disciple Huyan, the Dharma guardian. Pressing his hands together before him, Huyan bowed to the Bodhisattva, who said to him, "Go quickly to the region above and borrow the swords of constellations from your father king." "How many swords do you want, teacher?" asked Huyan. "The entire set," said the Bodhisattva. Obeying her command, Huyan mounted the clouds and went through the south heaven gate to reach the palace of cloudy towers. He kowtowed to his father king, who asked him, "Why has my son come here?" Mak-a replied, "Sun Wukong came to ask my teacher to subdue a fiend. She in turn told your child to borrow the swords of constellations from Father King." The Devaraja at once asked Na to take out the swords, all 36 of them, to hand over to Mak-a, who said to Na, "Brother, please go and bow to mother. I have urgent business. When I return the swords, I shall kowtow to her then." They parted hurriedly. Mak-a mounted the auspicious luminosity and returned to South Sea, where he presented the swords to the Bodhisattva. After she received them, the Bodhisattva threw them into the air. As she recited a spell, the swords were transformed into a 1,000-leaf lotus platform. Leaping up, the Bodhisattva sat solemnly in the middle. On one side, Pilgrim snickered to himself. "This Bodhisattva is so prudent and penurious. In that pond of hers, she has her own 5-colored treasure lotus platform, but she can't bear to use it. She has to borrow someone else's things." "Wukong," said the Bodhisattva, "stop talking. Follow me." They all mounted the clouds and left the ocean, the white cockatoo flying ahead while Great Sage Sun and Huyan followed from behind. In a moment, they reached the peak of a mountain. "This is the Roaring Mountain," said Pilgrim. "And from here to the door of the monster spirit is a distance of approximately 400 miles. When the Bodhisattva heard this, she lowered her auspicious cloud and recited a spell that began with the letter O. At once, various deities and demons appeared from the left and right of the mountain, all local spirits and mountain deities of the region. They came to kowtow before the Bodhisattva's treasure lotus seat. "Don't be alarmed, all of you," said the Bodhisattva. "I'm here to seize this demon king, But I want you all to sweep this area clean. Not a single living creature is to remain within 300 miles around here. Take the small beasts in their lairs, the young creatures in their nests, and send them up to the peak so that their lives may be preserved." The various deities obeyed and left. They returned momentarily to report that their work was done. The Bodhisattva said, "If the region is cleared, all of you may return to your shrines." She turned her immaculate vase upside down, and all at once a torrent of water thundered forth. Truly it surged over the summit and dashed over stone walls. Surging over the summit, it seemed the swelling sea. Dashing over stone walls, it seemed the vast ocean. Black mists arose, damping the entire sky. Green waves reflecting the sun beamed chilly light. The whole cliff gushed jade-like sprays. The whole sea sprouted gold lotus. The Bodhisattva let loose her awesome might. Her sleeve revealed the Dharmakaya of Chan. This place was changed to Potalaka's scene. Truly a perfect image of South Sea. Ludambara bloomed from lovely rushes. Fresh palmyra leaves spread from scented grass. On purple bamboos the cockatoo paused. Amid some green pines red partridges called. Waves 10,000-fold and lotus all around. Hear the wind roar, the water surging up to heaven. When the great sage sun saw this, he marveled to himself. Truly a bodhisattva of great mercy and compassion.